upload to our collective website, and then I share. So it saves us taking notes, so we can focus on our conversation and let the AI, like I said, take note on the recording. So yeah, so it's perfect. So yes, you have our permission, Astrid, to record this and send it to us later. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Hello, Andrea. Nice to meet you. Yes.
Hi to see
It
you
looks
again,
so good,
Astrid.
your face. And then you have the, I
Oh,
don't know
well,
the name in
this
English.
is the logo of One Humanity, One World, which is my
Okay, okay,
humanitarian
okay.
project. But
But
thank
now I see
you.
only your face, yes, with with
Yeah, I know.
with a shine, yes. And it is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So,
you.
yes, I will say thank you very much that everybody has time, that we come together, that we speak together. Leon and Andrea, Richard, we know us out of US. We was in the Guild Writers Theater in a great event from Mindatorium. And that was a first contact from us, yes. And we see us, we speak about the engagement from us, yeah, from Lyon, from Andrea, yes. Lyon has a film, The Man Who Meets God, yes, and it was a great movie. Andrea produced this new movie, yes, and Mandatorium gave an award to Leon and to Andrea, yes, and to myself. And so we have the first pictures, yes, we have the first conversation. That was the first contact, yes. So, Andrea, I met Richard the first time for 2 years in Berlin. Yes, we have a great event with the topic International Women's Day. The African Women's in Leadership Organization come to Germany. Yes, and Richard was a guest in this. Event. And so we come also together, we see us, we speak, yes, we exchange us and say, wow, that is also a good level. And we start with cooperation, yes. So I say something to my side, yes, where I am, yes. And then I think it is good when everybody say in some sentence what you do and what is the intention. Yes. From my side, it is so. I'm the president from the Boys Aid Association, and I'm the founder from the DIPESH, Digital International Platform for Environment, Sustainability, and Humanity. We speak about it, Leon and Andrea, yes? And the Voice 8 Association is in the moment registered in US and also in Africa. Yes. So that is the reason because the project DPESH is also placed of this continent. Yes. In the first time I come out of sales. Yes. I have started my career by Procter and Gamble in sales. I'm an expert for neurocommunication and neuromarketing, and I'm consultant. So, and I do so many things, yes, but now is my heart of the way to Voice Aid Association and Dibesh, yes, for I want to engage me for a better world. So I think it is enough in the moment, yes. I'm also Mandatorium. Richard is by Mandatorium, and Leon and Andrea also. Richard, do you want to say the next words?
Thank you. It's good to catch up with you, Leon and Andrea. I think Leon and I have already had quick touch points, common grounds, which is a passion for football, even though we support distinctly different clubs with different cultures, practices, and expectations. So it's good that we've broken the ice. So my name is Richard George, and I think Astrid has eloquently covered, in her usual way, covered the bulk pack of what I needed to say about myself. But suffice to say, I'm still gainfully employed here in Transport for London, where I am classified as one of the frontline leadership in the customer service operations, and I have been with the organization for only shy of 30 years with no intentions of quitting soon. So the Richard George Foundation was birthed about 18 months ago out of curiosity, out of a commitment and a passion for wanting to give back to humanity, and then being of the African heritage. Evidently, they say charity begins at home. Though here in the UK, I decided to look more towards what are the pain points, what are the gaps, what are the needs that I can play using my skill sets, knowledge, experience, and whatever relationships I've got in order to drive a plug in that particular gap. And we developed, or we established a foundation in Nigeria, fully approved by the Federal Ministry and the CAC, the authority that governs our overseas organizations and whatever. And then we created or developed 3 strategic pillars of focus: skills acquisition and development, because it's okay to be educated, but if you don't have the requisite skills, employability or employers can be, then you don't have a chance really, because you're competing against people who have the ready-made skills that needs to be deployed in the workplace of relevance. And then we had that, we looked at education. What sort of education will make a difference? Today, it's quite interesting, Andrea, looking at the logo behind you, which is quite centric in terms of our collective and creating a better world, or connecting a world of humanity, looking at social instruments for navigating change and all coming together, irrespective of different, you could say, different social identities or whatever that we will ascribe to it. So the education part of it is not so much the formal one, but education for social change, education for impact, education for individual, either fulfilling or unleashing their potential, or activating that small thing about them, which is a dream, and utilizing that dream concept to become reality, and working with different partners through the strength of collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. And then the final one is entrepreneurship. Funny enough, Leon talked about the fact that a couple of years ago he went to Nigeria, took a delegation, and is working with some key partners on a big project, the Lekki Airport project in Lagos, which is exciting to hear. Because in Africa and looking at Nigeria, there is a high level of dependency on government jobs, or what we call public office. So they believe the public sector is the biggest employer of labor. It's a mirage. It's a mirage because society that grows looks more to entrepreneurship, looks more to SMEs, looks more to private sector. And when you invest in the private sector, that is when your economy can grow. So we're looking at our investment program or training program, looking to have a paradigm shift where young talents, young persons coming out of school, instead of being in pursuit of jobs that don't exist, and even where those jobs exist, you step into those roles through patronage, through nuanced behaviors or sociocultural connections, such as who you know and not what you know and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to shift that mindset so that people can take a little bit more ownership of their development, of their growth, and then exploring new avenues such as the detailed breakdown that Dr. Ling shared through Astrid, looking at things like eco-smart solutions, looking at things like new energy or renewable energy, looking at things like advocacy for transformative change, and all those kind of stuff which they don't necessarily teach you at the Harvard Business School or Business College. We're trying to, that's the kind of area we're focusing on, so that our young people will begin to embrace and onboard themselves with these new concepts and look at what the opportunities are. And as Astrid rightly said, we connected in Berlin on the 8th of March. This is 2025, so that would have been 2023. 8th of March in Berlin, where I was, I think they call it fireside chat, or one of the panelists on stage to look at the issues and how we can solutionize some of the problems and the challenges of women in leadership, and supporting women. So I am a Denim Club member, so appointed, which is part of the G100 mission and objectives for empowering women, which has different themes. And that was how we connected. So we had a good conversation. And from that day, as I say, we became two in one, one in two. Astrid went with me to Nigeria just shy of 2 years ago to formally launch the foundation. And ever since, we have been doing stuff together. And yes, we're a foundation, or myself, and part of the Mindatorium. And I'm also connected with 90210. And I recall vividly, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, when Dr. Ying was posting a lot about his clip, which you curated and produced, Andrea, fabulous, and showcasing the New York City billboard presentation. I recall in the chat, there were one or two persons who were quite, which is okay. They had a different opinion in terms of the man who met God and the concept of God in our world, because perhaps they're not believers in the God concept. And I recall, and Dr. Ying was having kind of ping pong, and I said, no, it's okay. When you are in a community, it's okay to have differing opinions, because that brings richness. That is diversity. As long as it is done within respectable professional boundaries, then all is well, all is safe, and hopefully at some point, what you're showcasing will serve as a strong influence, because that's what it needs to be. You don't have to like it, but if you're influenced positively, then respect it and get on with it. So here I am. This is who I am. We've got big things to talk about. We've got stuff we're planning to do with the Voice Aid Association in Africa, as well as one or two other organizations, because we're launching free initiatives. Perhaps it's time to stop, and then we can carry on as the meeting develops. I thank you, and it's great to see everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Andrea, ladies first. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Thank you. Astrid, it's so nice to see you again, and Richard, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you for this introduction, Astrid. I was born in Venezuela, South America, but when I was a little baby, literally before I was 1 year old, my mother immigrated to Spain in Europe, and the beautiful Mediterranean, where I grew up and which I love deeply. But my mother, in fact, she was the head of marketing in South America of Procter & Gamble, just like you, Astrid. So now that you commented that, I was like, oh my God, just like my mom. My mom was head of campaigns for Coca-Cola and other companies of Procter & Gamble for many, many years when we were living in South America. And when she moved to Spain, she decided to take a different approach. But she taught me everything she knew about marketing. And nowadays, I'm the head of marketing of our collective, which that's another story. But as Astrid said, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker, and I'm extremely passionate about arts, all types of arts. I used to play in an orchestra professionally when I was a child growing up. I graduated myself in performing arts or music. I'm so passionate about arts because I've always believed that art can heal this world, just like education is the key to actually change the world. And back in 2020, it was a very dark time. We were going through a pandemic. I really wanted to start a project that could make a major difference. So that's why I created One Humanity, One World, which this is the logo. And the reason that at the beginning, to me, One Humanity, One World was a global social movement to stop racism in a way. That's why One Humanity, One World. I believe we're one human race. And the fact that today in this world, there are people that don't understand that drives me crazy because I've always thought it was so obvious my whole life. And the pandemic brought up a lot of bad aspects of humanity. And that really made me think that we needed practical solutions because, ever since I was young, I knew that I wanted to be an activist and I wanted to bring change to this world. And Mahatma Gandhi always says, be the change you want to see. And I always try really hard on that. But then I realized that most people have no idea the power they hold on being the change. So that's why actually my husband, which at the time he wasn't my husband, we were working together, he really inspired me to write a manifesto, which is the One Humanity, One World Manifesto. And after writing that, I basically wanted to take peace out of the paper because my whole life I heard that world peace is something that belongs to an utopia. It's a fairy tale. It's not realistic. And I said, no, it can be realistic. We just need bright minds to bring solutions and actually have the purpose to make it happen. So developing that, and after a very good brainstorm, we identified that the key for the practical solution for peace was education. So that's how One Humanity, One World ended up becoming a humanitarian project for education. And after doing some investigation, I found out that 40% of the world population don't know how to read or write. They are completely illiterate. We're talking about almost half of the human population. 40% of this planet is illiterate. And that also reflects why there's so much slavery and so many tragical things that happen to this world is because if people are taking away knowledge, basic knowledge, they
Yes.
cannot have any control of their lives. So I wanted to create something different because I've always thought that the current educational system is very, very, sorry, I'm a Spanish, so English is my second language, but the opposite of updated. It's very old. It needs to be renewed. And my sister, myself, I have an older sister. She's a teacher in Japan. She teaches Spanish. And she was the first person who introduced me to the concept of holistic education. I don't know if you ever heard about holistic education before, but so I said, you know what? I want to create a holistic educational curriculum for these new generations to come, and I want to be free of access to absolutely everyone, and I want to take it to schools, and I want to take it to other projects. So I start having educators, scientists from different parts of the world, like literally from all around the world, to contribute with their own knowledge to create the subjects for this curriculum, which is still today under development. This is a very big project. And I organize conferences to talk with great minds, like people that have been nominated to the Nobel Prize, for them to contribute to this project of education and how we can make peace something practical. So that being said, I've also partnered with other NGOs and 501(c)(3)s to help develop this curriculum and to help to take it to other schools or refugee camps or people that really don't have anything. And I'm always excited to meet people that are passionate about education and helping and making a change in the world, because that's what we love doing. And that's in a way why I love being part of our collective. Our collective has an amazing holistic model, which I'm sorry, Leon, I'm stealing that from you, but I just love it so much because it blew my mind. When Leon first taught me about the basics of ABC, and he called it art, business, charity, and he connected the three of them beautifully. It blew my mind because our collective is just proof in movement that once you have practical solutions, you can make anything and everything happen. So that's just a little bit about myself. What you said about the man who met God. Well, let me just add a little comment on there. I've always been a child of faith ever since I was born. I grew up with a single mother. I didn't have a father, but I thought, God is my father anyway. So I never needed anything else but my faith and my love for God. But growing up, I was always a great admirer of scientists. I've always loved science, like Albert Einstein. In fact, I was extremely obsessed with Albert Einstein. I begged my mother to buy me a violin just because Albert Einstein played the violin. I wanted to be him. And I was even on a debate whether to become an artist or a scientist on my younger days. But I let my passion for art take it from me. I've never been that good at math. But my issue with this is that great scientists have always have a bigger vision and believe that there is something more, like Albert Einstein was a great believer, right? And in his own way. And one of my dreams was always that one day God's system will be proven. But here's the thing. The concept of God is way too big to be labeled with human labels and human adjectives. The beauty about science is that 1 + 1 is 2, and that is not an opinion, that is a fact. There's a difference between facts and opinions. I can like the color pink, but the fact that the color pink is a reflection of light, it's a fact, not an opinion. And that's why, to be honest with you, that's how I fell in love with my husband. I read his book, his proof of the existence of God scientifically, with physics, with mathematics, with numbers. And I fell in love with this man because he didn't brought me opinions. He gave me facts. He gave me 1 + 1 = 2. It's that simple. Now, of course, physics and quantum mechanics are not as easy to understand as 1 + 1 = 2. And I'm not by far, I don't have the great mind of my husband, which I consider incredible genius. I even said to Ashken, a common friend, to me, my husband is the Einstein or the Newton of our time because his brain is something out of this world. And the reason that I produced that documentary, it's because I've always felt a lot of pain in my heart of why there are so many wars and crimes in the name of God, and why so many people feel free to hate in the name of God. That's because people turn the concept of God into a personal opinion that they can manipulate and change teachings that started with good intention thousands of years ago and transforming into weapons. I thought that understanding that the existence of God mathematically as the universe, not as a white dude on a cloud, but as a cosmic brain that created everything that exists and that has omnipotent power. And to me, that was not just mind-blowing, but to me, that was like an eureka moment of, you know what? If people could understand that, I think having faith is beautiful. I have my faith and I will have it till the day I die. And I'm very supportive of everyone having their own faith. My own thesis was on how all different religions share things in common and how all of them, I basically talk about the common points of different religions. So I have a huge passion for theology and a huge respect, and I support everyone having their own faith. But I think that learning a little bit of science, just like education, is so enlightening that to me, understanding the science behind God helped me have a better relationship with God and my own faith. And it was so helpful and transformative in my life that I just wanted to make that film because I felt that if everyone's minds had that mind blow eureka moment just like me, I generally thought the world could be a better place because then we had less things to argue about, more things in common, and we can agree what are facts and what are opinions. Now, I think I've talked way too much and I apologize for that.
Oh,
I've taken a lot of your time,
no,
but I'm
no.
just very passionate about everything we do. I put my heart on everything that we do. And now I'll let my beautiful husband have his words.
I was going to ask the question. So, who is this wonderful man or lucky man?
Oh,
So,
well, the Liverpoolian, as you
oh
already
my
said.
days, Dr. Leon Ying.
Mhm.
Let it go, please.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go into too much detail on myself and our collective because my beautiful wife, Andrea, just pretty much described all that I would have said. So I want to thank her for that great introduction. And I want to thank Astrid, my dear friend who I met in LA, a Manitoran, for introducing me to this super smart Richard, well, he's super smart other than he supports Arsenal. That's the only little bit of thing that he has. But if that's his only failing, then we can take that, you know. Although I said to you, we have our own little banter soccer. So like I said to you, we appreciate the beautiful game, as they say. But beyond that commonality, we have a lot of other things in common, and that's our love and what we're trying to do for his great nation of Nigeria. For those that are obviously on here, know that Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa, is the richest nation in Africa. It is, you know, I don't want to upset the rest of Africa, but where Nigeria goes, the rest of West Africa and the rest of Africa will also go. So Nigeria is an important place. It is not only, we talked about Manitorium, but Nigeria is the #1 producers of movie, not Bollywood in India, not Hollywood here in the USA. And that is the reason why, you know, as Astrid would know, I'm working with my Nigerian media colleagues to do a country licensing to bring Manitorium into Nigeria so they can make, you know, Nigerian-centric production into that. My first experience of Nigeria was in 2018 when I took a delegation from China, Middle East, and US to Nigeria. We met NNPC, which is the sixth largest oil producer in the world. Actually, the reason why we went there was on the medical service. They wanted to discuss about, you know, NNPC is not only the largest corporate entity, is a state-owned entity, actually, the largest employer. It has the biggest healthcare system in Nigeria as well. So that's something that they wanted because of our connectivity, because as you probably are aware, there's a large Nigerian diaspora also here in America, mainly in Houston, but also here in New York and New Jersey. And that's how I got to meet so many great Nigerians. And in 2018, so we went there to discuss with NNPC. We also met the various government agencies, Aviation Minister, NIPC, main investment board. And we were also invited to a presidential villa where myself and our collective received a humanitarian award from then First Lady Asha Barari. So we're very truly honored by that experience. And from that, I traveled to Nigeria again in 2019. I went to a presidential banquet where they had an economic forum where they wanted various international delegations to come in and help Nigeria expand its economy. Because like I said, Nigeria is extremely rich resource nation, is extremely youthful nation, is extremely smart, educated nation. But like Richard said, you know, it's not exactly right now structured to basically take advantage of that. So, but the Nigerians are aware of that, and some of the leadership are aware of that. And I'm glad that not only the former president Barari, but the current president Tinubu is also focused on that. And I'm just going to focus right now. Our collective is a global organization, but I'm just going to focus on what we're actually doing in Nigeria. So our great partner for Nigeria is Realcom Group Holding, headed by Dr. Raphael Ajali and Dr. Debbie Alusa. They are the ones that are propelling this investment opportunity for the Lekki project. Now, our intention is not only to build an airport. That's not our goal. One of the constant comment on here is about education. So our group is also going to be building aircraft maintenance service center, a training center for pilots. So our goal is not just to build something and bring foreigners and run it. No, our goal is to build something, build training platforms in there and train the Nigerians. So the Nigerian, that's the only way that we can have long-term sustainability. Yes. Okay, it's not to come in there and be brash and say, oh, I'm American or I'm Chinese and whatever, and you know, you need to do what we say. No, we need to go in there and but enhance the quality that's already. Like I said, Nigerians are very young, they're very educated. So the real resource of Nigeria and the rest of the world is the human resource. All right. Like I come from Singapore, right? When I was born in Singapore in the 60s, it was a third-rate country. Now it's one of the most educated, one of the richest, wealthiest nation on this world in terms of rating and education, everything else. Singapore ranks in the 1, 2, or 3. But the beauty, or not the beauty, but Singapore has absolutely zero resources. In fact, it has to even import its water from Malaysia. That's how lacking of resources. So it is not the resources that will make a great nation. It is a great leadership and the mentality to do good. And Singapore, I'm very, very proud, is a setting example that with zero resources, in fact, the only resource is deep ports. That's why it's a port, but it has nothing, not even water. But from that humble beginning, Singapore is now rated in all metrics in the number 1, 2, and 3. So if Singapore with no resources can elevate itself to one of the greatest, most prosperous nation in the world, then there's absolutely no reason why a resource-rich, educated nation, prosperous nation like Nigeria could literally, if it put its mind to it, take over the world, be the next superpower. Seriously, okay? And that's part of our goal is to develop that great potential, okay? So I'm just setting a few examples. I'm glad Astrid sent Richard the list that I sent them regarding what we're doing in Africa. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of them that I think are most important, and that is focused on education. So through our other partner, Chief Dr. Chimi, who's the founder of Chinese African Investment,
Yes.
he invited me to attend an education summit at the end of the year in Nigeria. Is organized by the government itself, and the new president is very, very keen on basically bringing a new education platform, and that's why I want to obviously include what my beautiful wife and talented wife done with the OHA. Her goal is to basically bring high quality education for free to the entire world, not just Nigeria, but the entire world. So that is something that we're working on with Dr. Chimi. In fact, we're coordinating a UN event again in September because our collective had very UN event. And I've actually reciprocated and invited the president of Nigeria to attend our event. So through Dr. Chimi, who's opened up the channel, they've already discussed with the government agencies. So they expressed already great interest for the Nigerian president when he comes for the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, and that's in September. When he comes, he is invited to attend our collective UN-hosted event. Well, when I say UN-hosted, it's an independent event, but because of our UN NGOs, which Andrew also mentioned, we are very, very closely affiliated with the United Nations. So once we get that in place, I'll, of course, extend that invitation to both Richard and Astrid to come over, hopefully in September, to attend this UN event that we are hosting, and not only with President.
Thank you very much
Nigeria,
for the invitation.
Well, so that is our goal, and our key focus on that will be on education, but also on the investment opportunity in Nigeria as well. And when I'm saying about investment, I'm talking about long-term sustainable investment, which is obviously key to what Astrid has mentioned for her organization as well. So that is something which is very, very strong and very, very, key to what our collective is aiming for. Not just Nigeria, but because this obviously conversation is more Nigerian centric, that's a key focus that we are developing through our collective. But like I said to you, our goal is to accomplish our deeds worldwide. I mean, that sounds arrogant, and arrogance are people who say things and do nothing, okay? So I am not arrogant. I may be egotistical, but I'm not arrogant because I not only intend to say things, but I intend to, pardon my word, do the effing thing, okay? Now, Richard will know because I come from Britain. We swear a lot in Britain, but since there's ladies here, I've just, toned down my. We have 3 ladies here. I see Stella joining us, but Richard knows that, especially from Liverpool, we like to F this, F that a lot, but in the nicest way, of course. But anyway, so that is what our collective are, and I'm so glad that I share the same vision with you all. on this, so let's make things happen. Absolutely. So
Yes.
over to you, Astrid, back to you.
Yes. In the first, I will say thank you very much for the invitation to New York. Yes. And we think about it. Yes. And when you have the correct, the exactly a date, please come back to us and inform us. Yes. Okay. I want to give some informations more to my doing, yes, to my passion.
Sorry, Astrid, sorry, can I just butt in? We've had Stella join us. Let Stella just do a quick intro of herself, please, if you don't mind, so we have a completeness.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, Stella. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to have joined such a wonderful conversation, listening to everything you all have been saying. Thank you so much. My name is Stella Ogbaburu, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for the Richard George Foundation. I work with the Richard George Foundation in Nigeria, and it's amazing meeting every one of you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stella.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Stella.
Thank you.
Go on, Astrid, sorry.
Good. So, yes, thank you for the invitation. Yes, please give us the exactly date, then we exchange us. Yes. I want to say, I want to give you some informations for my work, yes, in Europe, US, and Africa. My great intention is I come out of the training sector, yes, and when you come out of this sector, you have many questions in your head. Yes, the question is, what do we need to develop a good transformation? What need people? Yes, and then when we know this, then we can think about good solutions for this. Yes, and when we have good solutions, we must find mentors, role models, yes, which say we go the way with you, yes. And in the one pillar from Voice 8 is an international knowledge database, yes, because we hear education is very, very important. We need education, yes, and we need free education, Andrea, yes, you say it, yes. So, and the international knowledge database from the DPESH is free for every people of the world, yes. But we have a special topic, a special view, I will say it with view for living sustainability, yes. Under this umbrella, we speak about, for example, sustainable travel, sustainable lifestyle, yes. We speak about environment, we speak about humanity, all the things, yes, but under the umbrella living sustainability. And maybe, Andrea, we have speak a little moment in Los Angeles about it, yes. So we have maybe the possibility work together, yes, because this knowledge is free. Yes, in the moment we have 8 languages, yes, and we can use this knowledge for people, yes, for people in companies, yes, to get more more interesting to the environment, yes, to sustainability. I think the future is digital, the future is sustainable, yes, and the future must have a good education system, yes, and then we can work of it, yes. I'm a certificate leadership trainer, yes, and leadership is my base, yes. I have worked with so many great companies, and my experience is very good in this base. And one side of my business is also a health system. but not the health system in the normal way. The health system which comes out of a good communication. A good communication is a prevention, prevention. When I have a good communication, yes, so I have a good energy. So I lose my stress. So I have a good body language. And when I have all the things are good, so I have another intention in my head. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so when we learn to use the right language, so we have the key for a healthy system for ourselves, yes, which don't, you must not pay anything for this, yes. You have all the things on you. You can change your mindset. You can change your ability as a leadership when you know these keys. Then you have the key for more attraction to employers. You can better motivate the employees. Yes, you can better motivate yourself, because when you speak with other people, but every time you speak with yourself. And that is a great way. And when we can combine the knowledge about sustainability with this knowledge about what we need for a communication, for to have a better healthy, yes, then we have a great key for a better future. That is performance and health concepts for companies and for people, stress management, all these things, yes. So, and I think we have last week a very great communication. It goes also about education. Yes, we want to create a system. The intention from Richard and for me is also to create new jobs. Yes, and when we can create a system that, for example, Nigerian people get a better education, yes, we have a special system for this. The people works in Nigeria and also in Germany, yes, to get more. Richard, do you want to say some words? I think it is a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, it's about developing global work strategies and understanding the need to function beyond the silos of your geographical location, because that concept of exposure feeds nicely and is critically aligned to our collective in terms of the construct that you painted, Andrea, free education for all, where we respect our diversity and yet we function in an inclusive world. So we begin to develop that from you could argue from cradle to death, and that births a better world that makes for, to use Dr. Leung's always pictorial, goodness. G, capital letter O, small letter O, and then a D, which is a combination of God. And if you have God in you and your faith is strong, then you manifest goodness, because he represents all that is beyond the arithmetic, like what you said, Andrea, of 1 + 1, 2, which is a fact of science. But there is mystery in God, and you just have to believe it. You've got to anchor your faith to understand the value of that mystery or conundrum that is more internalized than externalized. So that is what Astrid is talking about. That is what we want to do. But I don't know, Astrid, you want to say something else? Because there's something on my mind I wanted to add, so I don't forget. Do you want to carry on?
Yes, I want that you tell Andrea and Along a little bit about the concept with Manfred.
Okay, I will go into that. So, Andrea and Leon, if you've got a pen, and I'm sure you have a way of, and I know this meeting is being recorded, Astrid and I, and a few other partners, with the greatest sense of respect, will now inviting you to join us in Nigeria from the 1st of October to the 7th of October 2025. Specifically on Saturday, the 4th of October 2025, we are launching 3 key initiatives in Edo State, one of the states in the south of Nigeria. 3 key initiatives we're launching. So I'm going to ask our Chief Operating Officer to just talk a little bit more about these 3 key initiatives, which, if I'm being honest, we've actually kicked on. We're just formally launching it by way of putting it out there so that we can use that as a magnet to showcase key milestones, success stories, narratives, and good, strong storytelling by the beneficiaries or those who have already been onboarded and have embraced the value of these 3 key initiatives. Stella, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Richard. Concerning the 3 key initiative, we're going to be launching in October 4th this year. The first on our list is the Women Initiative, the Women Empowerment Initiative, where we empower women who are into petty business. We see the struggle in women who are not able to scale their businesses. I believe you can all hear about the struggle currently in Nigeria among business owners. So we decided to focus on women because we believe that when we empower women, we empower nations. When we empower women, we empower generations. So we are going to focus, already we are doing it, focusing on women who are into petty business to empower them, to encourage them with little token, and even educating them on entrepreneurship, on how they can actually manage and grow their businesses. Aside the empowerment, we have also launched the 100 Women Business Initiative, where we trained women from 3 different countries. They actually applied for the training: Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya. They applied for it, and we trained them on the process of starting a business and scaling. Because the truth is, a lot of these women, it is not just about empowerment. They don't have the necessary education to actually start the business. So outside empowering them, we educate them on how to grow and scale their business. Also, we are going to be launching the internship development initiative. In ROGF today, we have a department called the internship department, where we bring in young minds who are ready to work and earn. We train them on tech skills, because that's the future. We train them on tech skills and provide them with hands-on experience where they work and earn. So it is about learning, working, and earning. So we're going to be showcasing these people on that day of the launch to tell their story, how they started and where they are at the moment. We're still looking to bring more people on board, and that is the reason why we are launching the initiative. And the last on our list is the Sustainability Initiative, which we have also started with a technical school in Nigeria, precisely Benin City, where we train students on sustainability, teaching them how to upcycle, turning waste to wealth. Recently, we just concluded the first batch of the training, where they learned how to turn waste tires to tables and chairs. We also did practicals on turning, coconut shell to earrings, necklaces, bangles. You'll be amazed at what these guys are doing. And also the last one, for the first batch, we worked on turning the bottle cap bottle cap, we used it to create Edo State map. Edo State map. It's going to be amazing when you see all of this, because we want to make it so professional. They just went on holiday. When they resume, we are going to take a professional shoot for all of them and commence the second batch. So we are going to be having 3 batches for this sustainability initiative for the school. And we're not just going to stop here. We intend to have a hub. That is the whole idea about this, because we are talking about sustainability. If we train them, what is the next? So part of our sustainability initiative is to have a hub in the school where these students can easily go to not just learning, showcase their product, and also become a creator. Tell us what the stuff is about. The hub is going to showcase a lot of things, both product design, training. It's going to have a creator studio, and of course the sustainability unit. So we have a lot of things we are going to do with this hub. So for now, I think I'm going to stop here. Let me not let all the cat out of the bag, because it's going to be a lot. We are still cooking. October is not far, but we are preparing for the launch, and I would believe it's going to be amazing. It's going to be massive in Benin. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you,
so much, Stella. So
I
all
will,
these. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Just a moment, Richard.
Thank you.
I will add a very interesting initiative. It is an initiative for trained skilled workers who work in Germany and Nigeria. It is for the humans which are a little bit older. Yes, they need, when they want to come to Germany, they need they must speak German. Yes, when you come. And we want to create a campus, yes, for 300 or 400 students which work with us, yes, the collaboration Germany, Nigeria, yes, to get more education and for to find a new work, for example, in Germany, or the people go back to Nigeria with a great with a great education, with a lot of knowledge, so they find good jobs and they can grow up Nigeria from his homeland.
Good stuff. So last week I had a meeting with Astrid and Dr. Manfred Welker, who is a top government investment partner in Germany, with a vast decades of experience working in Southeast of Asia, and having put in place model educational programs and infrastructure that speaks to what Astrid is saying. And one of the things we're working towards doing is, aside from the Creative Hub that Stella said, we had a meeting last week with one of the Supreme Court judges in Nigeria, or justices in Nigeria, who has a lot of sway and has a lot of influence. In fact, he's already provided us with a 48-hectare of land opportunity for the build, operate, and transfer of an educational facility that will serve for both therapeutic, education, and training, as well as a model academy institution that will offer licenses, as well as opportunity of a 3-year program. The 3-year program will be 2 years spent in Nigeria at that particular academy. The intention is the academy director or director general or the provost will be Stella Ogba Aburu. They will have a 2-year academic study at that particular academy. And the 3rd year, they will all go to Germany. They will go to Germany on the third year. And during that 1 year, they will be, as part of their journey of learning and developing the global work strategies I talked about, acquiring value-driven skills, interrelationship, as well as understanding the dynamics between different cultures, practices, and standards. They will be deployed to different organizations who we are looking to bring on board as investor partners in this particular project. And all of that is being curated in the back end. And that was why Stella said she wants to be a little bit economical with some facts. And we're working through it with the Voice Aid Association and the DPESH project. We're also working, we're also looking to bring in some investors and partners to come and invest in building solar parks. Solar parks, new energy, we talked about new opportunities, eco-smart solutions, eco-smart entrepreneurship programs, in order to have that paradigm shift amongst young peoples and whatever, so that they understand the concept of global warming, climate change, environmental protection, as well as sustainability. And then, of course, the last but not the least is there is also the concept of perhaps looking at the prospect, if the land has capacity, of building, constructing windmill facilities to provide a different type of source of energy. Because Dr. Leong will tell you, one of his experiences in Nigeria when he visited, either in 2018 or in 2019, is the epileptic disruption of power, because the national grid, there hasn't been much investment for a long time, and it's been more a patchy job as opposed to a root and branch approach in order to have a right fix for a country the size of Nigeria, with an ever-growing population, with household needs, business needs, as well as a non-governmental or corporate institution needs. So these are some of the thinking that informed the meeting we had last week. We have a summary document which Stella will now unpack, and then we begin to engage at the right level of government through the Supreme Court justice in order to find a way forward. And it's on the back of that, I will reiterate what I asked or said earlier on. We are now officially extending our invitation to you, Dr. Leong and Andrea, to join us first on the 7th of October, 2025. We will be adding your name to it. You will receive a formal invitation. But before we get to October, we await, and I'd like to say a big thank you, just like Astrid said, your generosity in extending prospectively the invitation to the 80th session of the UN General Assembly, within which you're hoping to organize your own program. It's an honor. We would accept that. But if I may ask, with the greatest sense of respect, if you do want to send me an invite and also Astrid an invite, I would ask that you also invite Stella Ogba Aburu. I want her to get out of Nigeria, to go to the UN and see and speak up and be there to reflect what I call the nuanced locale and the real experiences of people on the ground. I don't want to be elitist about what is happening in Nigeria. I want someone who is very close to the people, who feels it, who understands, who has gone to the grassroots to meet the nitty-gritty or the people who are experiencing it, looking at it both from concept of communal tensions because of lack, because of a flawed educational system that is focused on arithmetic, reading, and writing, or because of the lack of infrastructure, which means you have a disconnect between rural dwellers who lack opportunity, who do not have access, and urban center dwellers who kind of have a little bit more access. And then, of course, we look at the other demographics. We talked about women. What are the opportunities? What are the resources? What are the infrastructure available to get these demographics on board so that they can contribute? And you and I know, you invest in a woman, you have created a strong backbone for an economy that must thrive because they've got that nascent nurturing skills. What about people with disabilities? Andrea, you talked about ID camps, people who've gone into IDP camps and whatever as a consequence of war. not their own war, but communal clashes and whatever. How are we supporting those kind of people, that is, people from disadvantaged communities? It is this kind of holistic thinking that is driving our thought processes and what we're doing, and we are absolutely well connected. Everything I have said so far, we are doing it in collaboration and in partnership with the Voice 8 Association, as well as one or two other organizations local, which is why when you get our invitation letter or corporate materials that goes out, it will carry the logo of Voice 8 Association as well as our organization, indicative of the strength of that collaboration I talked about, the coordination of efforts, the partnership arrangement, and communication of intent in order to create small solutions that is within our power, that is within our gift to do. So we invite you on board to be one of us, because your word says it all. Our collective, the vision of the Richard George Foundation, the vision of the Voice 8 Association, I can argue legitimately, from what I have heard from you, Dr. Ying and Andrea, feeds or is aligned to our collective. The power of collectivism, irrespective of the small twists and tweaks in our vision and missions, can only serve to make that transformative change for humanity in order to create that goodness that we all are yearning for, which has gone down the pan, excuse my French, on the back of COVID-19. I thank you, and that concludes.
Thank you. Can I just jump in here? It may seem a lot. So, Astrid, I know you're recording this. So, with your permission, when you upload it, send me the link. I want to share it with these three parties, and I'm going to explain why. So, the first party I'm going to share it with Chief Dr. Chimmy. He's a very prominent Nigerian leader. He's the head of the Chinese African Investment. So he would be a great ally for what you're doing on many fronts. But specifically, he's the one who's invited our organization to the Education Summit at the end of the year in Nigeria, and to meet President Tinubu. So he is our great. He also runs a prominent media. In fact, it is a woman's magazine. So I think what, Stella, you have just described, the things that you are doing, not just talking, but actually doing, is absolutely amazing. You know, tires into furnitures. You know, these are the things that are taking real action. So that's something that I want you to basically communicate that to Dr. Chimmy, so he can basically put that into his magazine, which, as I said, is dedicated to women's issue. The reason, Stella, I also want you to connect directly with Dr. Chimmy. He's also the one that's coordinating the meeting with the president with our event in September here in the UN. So Dr. Chimmy is also going to be bringing a delegation from Nigeria over to the UN. So I suggest you connect with him and come as one of his VIP delegates. With his connection to the president, you'll have no issues. And that way, so that's one of the major issues I want you to connect, because Dr. Chimmy may well be a great participant of what you're doing also in October in terms of investment. Said to you, he's a great leader. He's not just connected to the Nigerian, he's also connected to the president in Ghana and also in Liberia as well, pretty much all in West Africa, because he was head of, like I said, the Chinese African Investment. And because of that connectivity, he met the President Xi in China as well. So his connectivity is of the highest caliber. So I want to share that with him. So Stella, so when you come over, hopefully in September for our UN event, you'll come as also in conjunction with Dr. Chimmy, because he's the one who's coordinating with the Nigerian government. So that's one entity that I want to share this great video conversation with and connect you directly with. The other two is with our collective prominent member, Dr. Queen Blessing Itue. She is the founder of Global Empowerment Movement. Her UN NGO is actually empowering women issue, which focus exactly what you want to do. She's also the one that co-hosts through our collective, our UN event, which I sent you the link on in 2020. So she's based here in Atlanta, Georgia, but she's also a prominent Nigerian as well. And she's also partnered with various entities, companies that also develop eco-friendly, renewable energy, all the things that you said. She's also partner for that as well. So I want to share what we discussed directly with her as well. And last but not least, our great partner, Riocom Group Holding, which I mentioned is headed by Dr. Raphael Ajali and Dr. Debbie Alusa, who again prominent Nigerian as well, although very connected again to all of West Africa. And they are our investment partner in Nigeria, as I mentioned to you, the Lekki Airport project. But our goal is not just to put an airport in there. Their goal from Riocom is to put a training academy in Nigeria as well. So maybe we could fit in that 34 hectare of land. So maybe we could incorporate this training platform into that. So that's again something that when I hear all this, I'm saying, well, this is what we're doing. So instead of us trying to do it separately, let's join our connection, let's join our human resource, our great minds together, and we'll stand a better chance of making it happen. It will happen. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. So we can put these great minds, these great resources together, then perhaps we can make this happen quicker and bigger. So that's why, Astrid, I asked you to forward me a copy of this video, which I'll share to these three entities, which I think will be extremely powerful connection to what you are doing through our collective. So thank you again for the invitation, October. I look forward to it. And again, once I finalize the detail for our September parallel event at the United Nations as part of the General Assembly, I'll send you the detail and obviously the invitation to you, George, to you, Astrid, and obviously to you, Stella. But Stella, I want you to connect directly with Dr. Chimmy as well. And you will come as part of his delegation as well. So thank you again for that, listening to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and let me just add, great minds think alike. And as you guys just heard, in our collective, we're all about women empowerment, and that's why, as Leon said, all of the great people we know are all about women empowerment too. Even though how low the inverted triangle is to represent that the future is female. And so we're all about that. And of course, we care about the environment, because if we don't have a planet B, right? So we need to take care of this planet, and the new generations need to learn that too. But I love everything you guys explained, from Stella to Richard to Astrid. So it's wonderful. And thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to explain it to us. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Stella, do you want to say something?
Well, I am super excited. Thank you so much. I am super excited. Thank you, Mr. Richard, for having me on the call, and Astrid, because I never thought I'll be here today. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Richard, do you want to say something?
No, it's our collective. Let's get to work. There is a lot to be done. Let's get it on.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is a good last point, Richard. Yes. I will say only we are one. Yes. And together we can make the difference. Yes. And I'm very happy that we now have the time to speak together. And I believe from the bottom of my heart, yes, that this wonderful meeting had a great future. I would say thank you very much. We come together. I sent you all informations, Leon, and all different possibilities. Yes, transcript, video, AI protocol, so everybody can use what he wants. And then
Thank you.
we speak
All right.
together in
Much love and
some
peace to
weeks.
you all. Christ our blessing. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Richard?
You can stop
Just a
recording.
moment. I stop it,
Recording. Yeah.
and we